Most people spend their entire lives working hard and still end up broke, stressed, and wondering what went wrong. And here's the painful truth. It's not because they didn't work hard enough. It's because they worked hard on the wrong thing. I'm going to share something with you today that changed the trajectory of my entire life. A lesson that the wealthiest, most fulfilled people in America quietly live by, but almost nobody talks about openly. It's not a stock tip. It's not a side hustle. It's not about waking up at 4 a.m. It's about who you are becoming. And today, I'm going to break it down into a step-by-step system you can start using immediately. Stay with me through the whole video, because the last section is where everything connects. And if you leave early, you'll miss the part that actually makes all of this work. Let me ask you something. Think about the most financially successful person you know personally. Not a celebrity, someone you've actually spent time around. What's different about them? Most people say they got lucky, they had connections, they started at the right time. But when you actually study wealthy people, not just read about them, but really study them, you notice something deeper. Their external world almost always matches their internal world. There's a principle that goes like this. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And at first that sounds like motivational poster stuff. But here's what it actually means in practice. Your income, your relationships, your health, your happiness, none of these can consistently stay above the level of your own personal development. The moment you stop growing, life has a way of pulling everything back to wherever you actually are on the inside. Think about professional athletes. A star player signs a $50 million contract, and within 2 years of retiring, a stunning percentage of them are broke. Why? Because the money arrived before the mindset. The outside ran ahead of the inside, and eventually everything levels out. Success is something you attract by the person you become, not something you chase down and tackle. And the most liberating part of this truth? It means that no matter where you are right now, any day you decide to grow, you immediately start attracting better outcomes. You don't have to wait for luck. You become the person who creates their own luck. Let me tell you about a conversation that shifted everything. Early in my life, I had a mentor, a self-made millionaire who'd built everything from nothing. And one evening, I was completely honest with him. I said, "I don't have any money. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do." I expected sympathy, maybe some practical tips. Instead, he looked at me and said something I didn't expect. "That's not your problem." I was confused. I literally had $0 in my account. How is that not a problem? He continued, "The problem is not a lack of money. The problem is a lack of ideas about how to create money. Because if you had the ideas, you'd have the money within a year. But if I gave you the money without the ideas, you'd be broke again within 2. That hit me like cold water. He then said something I've never forgotten. If you took all the money in the world and divided it equally, within a few years it would all be back in the same hands. Because money follows the mind, always. So what's the solution? Ideas. The right ideas, consistently applied, change everything. A single idea can restructure your finances, transform your relationships, rewrite your future. And here's the best part. Ideas aren't scarce. They're everywhere. You just have to become someone who actively goes looking for them. Most people passively wait for inspiration. Successful people build systems to generate it constantly. And there are 3 specific ways to do this. Method 1. Read. Every high-performing person I have ever studied or worked with has one habit in common. They read. Obsessively. curiously, continuously. Not because reading is glamorous, but because they understand what reading actually is. It's downloading someone else's 10 years of experience into your mind in 10 hours. There are books written by people who built billion-dollar companies from scratch, who escaped poverty, who transformed their psychology, who figured out peak performance. They wrote down exactly how they did it, and most people never read them. How do you explain that? The greatest life instructions ever written are sitting in libraries and on Amazon, and people scroll TikTok instead. Here's the minimum I'd challenge you to. 30 minutes a day. That's it. 30 minutes every single morning of something positive, instructional, or challenging. Do that for 1 year, and you will not recognize your own mind. If you wish to be wealthy, study wealth. If you wish to be healthy, study health. If you wish to be happy, study happiness. Don't leave it to chance. Make it a deliberate study. Method 2. Listen. Your network is literally your net worth. Not because of nepotism, but because of what you absorb when you're around certain people. Get around people who are doing what you want to do. Listen to how they think. Listen to the questions they ask. Listen to how they respond to problems. You'll start to absorb their framework almost without trying. Here's a piece of advice I'll say plainly. If you want to change your financial life, take a successful person to dinner and just listen for 2 hours. Spend $80. Spend $100. Because the ideas you pick up in that conversation could be worth $100,000. Most people don't do this. They say, "Why would I pay for a rich person's dinner?" And that mindset, right there, is one of the reasons they stay exactly where they are. Poor people tend to entertain each other. Rich people tend to educate each other. Choose your dinner table wisely. Method 3. Observe. This one is free and available to you every single day. Just pay attention. There are 2 ways to see. There's sight, what your eyes pick up, and then there's insight, what your mind interprets. Most people use only their eyes. But when you develop the skill of observation, you start seeing patterns. You notice how a confident person walks into a room, how a great leader handles criticism, how a successful entrepreneur responds when a deal falls through. Success leaves clues, and if you're paying attention, you'll find them everywhere. In conversations, in books, in the way someone structures their morning, in the way they handle money, in the questions they ask. My challenge to you, starting today, walk through your life with the intention of learning from everything. Be curious, be present, be a student of your own experience and everyone else's. And when you find something that works, don't just remember it, write it down, keep a journal. Repetition of the right ideas is how they go from theory in your head to results in your bank account. Before we get to step 2, I need to address the elephant in the room. Because I know some of you are watching this thinking, I've heard all this before. I've tried. I still feel stuck. And I want to speak directly to that feeling. Because it's real. And it deserves a real answer. Here's what I've observed. Most people don't fail to change because they lack information. They fail because they haven't changed their identity. Think about it. If deep down you believe you are not a money person, or not the type to be successful, or someone who always struggles, then every new piece of information gets filtered through that belief. And your brain will find a way to make your life match your identity. Every time. The psychology of this is actually well documented. We don't act our way into a new identity. We believe our way into new action. When you start to genuinely see yourself as someone who grows, who learns, who builds. The actions follow naturally. So here's my question for you. Who do you believe yourself to be? Not who you want to be. Who do you, at a gut level, believe you are? Because that belief, right now, is setting the ceiling on your life. And the work of personal development isn't just learning new information. It's slowly, deliberately becoming a new person. True happiness is not found in what you get. It's found in what you become. And that becoming, that's entirely within your control. Learning without action is just expensive entertainment. Your job is not to become the most informed person in the room. Your job is to take what you've learned and actually do something with it. Here's a question I want you to write down right now. What is one thing I could start doing tomorrow that could change the entire direction of my life? Not next month, not when things calm down. Tomorrow. Now. The reason most people never answer that question honestly is because they're waiting for motivation to strike first. They're waiting to feel ready, feel inspired, feel certain. But here's the truth about discipline. You do not wait to feel like it. You build the feeling by doing the thing. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates motivation. Motivation leads to more action. It's a cycle, but you have to start it. And you start it small. The small disciplines are not beneath you. They are the foundation for everything else. Make your bed. Keep your word to yourself on small promises. Show up on time. Finish what you start. These little things aren't little. They're building a muscle that will be ready when the truly big challenges of your life arrive. And they will arrive. And when they do, you want to have the strength that only comes from years of small, consistent discipline. And this last point is critical. Stop outsourcing your motivation. Nobody is coming to turn you on. Not your spouse, not your boss, not a motivational video, including this one. I can give you a spark, but you are the fire. You have to feed yourself every day. That's what self-motivation actually means. Not waiting to be inspired, deciding to be inspired. Every single morning. Let me show you two different people. Person A sees a problem and thinks, why is this happening to me? They blame the economy, blame their background, blame the system. And to be fair, some of those things are real. Life isn't always fair. But the question is, what do you do next? Person B sees the same problem and thinks, what can I learn from this? What's the opportunity here? Who do I need to become to handle this differently? Same world, completely different internal response. And over time, those two internal responses create completely different external realities. The poverty mindset is not about being poor. It's about scarcity thinking. There's not enough. It's too hard. I could never. These thoughts don't just feel bad. They literally close off the part of your brain that generates solutions. The wealth mindset is not about being arrogant or ignoring reality. It's about staying in a posture of possibility. What if this works? What would I try if I wasn't afraid? Who could help me figure this out? And here's the research-backed truth. Gratitude and curiosity are two of the most powerful wealth-building mental states you can cultivate. Grateful people see opportunity. Curious people pursue it. Together, that's the entire formula. Start small. Every morning ask yourself, what am I grateful for? What am I curious about today? That one habit done consistently rewires your brain over time in measurable ways. Step 3. Stop trying to beat the system. Learn how it works, and then work it better than anyone else. Here's where a lot of smart, ambitious people go wrong. They learn enough to get clever. They start looking for shortcuts, cutting corners, shading the truth a little, doing the minimum to get the maximum. And for a while, it can seem like it's working. But here's what I've watched happen over and over again. People who look for cheap answers end up with cheap lives. The compounding of integrity is real. Every time you keep your word, every time you do the work properly even when no one is watching, every time you take the long path instead of the shortcut, you are building something invisible but incredibly durable. Your reputation, your character, your self-respect. And here's the irony. The shortcut almost always takes longer. Because you eventually have to go back and fix what you broke, rebuild what you burned, restore what you lost. Doing it right the first time is actually the fastest path. Excellence is not a sacrifice, it's a strategy. And the people who understand that, they don't just succeed, they build something that lasts. I want to say something about wealth that might surprise you. Money is real. Financial security matters. I'm not one of those people who's going to tell you money isn't important, because it absolutely is, and pretending otherwise is dishonest. But I've also sat across from people with more money than most of us will ever see, and they were miserable, empty, disconnected from everyone who mattered to them. And I've met people of modest means who were deeply, genuinely wealthy, in peace, in purpose, in connection, in joy. Real wealth is not a number in an account. Real wealth is the freedom to live on your own terms, surrounded by people you love, doing work that matters to you. The personal development we've talked about today, it builds all of it, not just your bank account, your whole life. That's why this lesson is the most important one I know, because it works on every dimension of human experience at the same time. Let me give you something concrete before I let you go. I want to challenge you to 30 days. Not forever, just 30 days. 3 commitments every single day. Commitment 1, read for 30 minutes. Anything that improves your mind, your skills, or your understanding of how wealth and success work. Commitment 2, write one idea in a journal. One thing you learned, one thing you observed, one thing you want to try. Build your idea library. Commitment 3, do one hard thing you've been avoiding. One email you've been putting off. One conversation you've been scared to have. One task that makes you uncomfortable. Do it first, every day. If you do those 3 things for 30 days straight, I promise you, your life will be different. Not because of magic, because of momentum. And momentum is the most powerful force in human achievement. Let me close with the most important question of everything we talked about today. Starting tomorrow, what are you going to do differently? Not someday, tomorrow. Because here's the thing about tomorrow. It will come whether you're ready or not. And the version of you that shows up tomorrow morning is being decided right now by this choice in this moment. You don't have to change everything. You just have to change something. One book, one conversation, one journal entry, one small discipline you didn't have before today. And I want to know what it is. Drop it in the comments below. Write exactly what you're committing to, because saying it publicly makes it real, and this community will hold you to it. You are more capable than you've been living. That's the truth. And the only thing standing between who you are today and who you could be is a decision. Make it. I'll see you in the next one. If this video gave you even one idea that could change your life, share it with someone who needs it today. That one share might change their entire year. Subscribe to Success Mindset for more videos on wealth, psychology, and becoming the best version of yourself. New videos every week, built for people who refuse to settle. Take care of yourself, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.